Theo, I was walking through an electronics store last weekend, and every single laptop had a shiny sticker on it that said AI PC. Even the cheap baseline Chromebooks had them. It made me laugh. Is this just the new gluten-free label of the technology world?
Laughs. Oh, absolutely. Marketing departments are having a field day. If a device can run a simple spell check, they are calling it AI with a straight face.
But underneath all that marketing fluff, there is actually a very strict physical line in the sand. There is a literal spec sheet that separates a marketing gimmick from a machine that can actually run deep, on-device neural models locally. Today, we are going to draw that line, look at the giant silicon war being fought over it, and trace what these devices actually do when you take them home. Disclaimer first.
One small thing up front. We genuinely love these companies as stories, but we're explaining them, not recommending them.
So treat all of this as food for your own thinking, not financial advice. Stay curious, stay a little skeptical, and make your own calls.
Welcome back to the Working Thesis. I'm Theo.
And I'm Maya. First, our necessary legal housekeeping. This show is for education and entertainment only, not investment advice. We mention companies like Qualcomm, Intel, Microsoft, and Apple as public examples of technology trends, never as buy or sell recommendations. No price targets, no trade setups. Always verify everything yourself and do your own research.
Let's start with the literal line in the sand. Microsoft actually defined the category with their Copilot Plus PC specification, which launched in June 2024. To earn that badge, a computer physically must have three things.
And the first one is the big one, an NPU, or neural processing unit, that delivers at least 40 TOPS. TOPS stands for trillion operations per second. It is a rough, brute force measure of a chip's AI horsepower.
Plus a minimum of 16 gigabytes of unified memory and 256 gigabytes of fast SSD storage. If a laptop has 39 TOPS, it doesn't get the badge. If it has 8 gigabytes of RAM, it is locked out. This isn't a loose guideline. It is a rigid hardware filter. Below 40 TOPS, the system cannot run useful local models like Microsoft's Phi Silica natively in the background. Above 40 TOPS, local AI becomes part of the operating system's basic plumbing.
And when Microsoft first launched this standard, they didn't partner with their historic x86 allies, Intel or AMD. They partnered with Qualcomm. Qualcomm disrupted the whole PC world with its Snapdragon X Elite and X Plus processors, which delivered around 45 TOPS of NPU performance.
It was a massive structural shift. Qualcomm brought ARM-based architecture, the highly efficient silicon design that powers nearly every phone on Earth, into the Windows laptop world. They delivered spectacular performance per watt and battery life that routinely hit 20 to 30 hours.
And they aren't slowing down. Their newer Snapdragon X2 Elite and X2 Elite Extreme chips, built on TSMC's cutting-edge 3nm process, are reportedly pushing NPU speeds past a staggering 80 TOPS. Qualcomm went from a smartphone modem maker to a major disruptor on the Windows desktop, breaking the historic x86 monopoly.
But the x86 giants didn't just sit there and take the beating. Intel's first-generation Meteor Lake chips only had about 10 TOPS of NPU power, which made them great for background blurring on Zoom, but useless for local language models.
Laughs. Right. A very expensive Zoom filter.
Exactly. But they responded hard with Lunar Lake, pushing NPU performance up to 48 TOPS. And the massive turnaround tell we are watching is Intel's Panther Lake processors, built on their in-house 18A process node. It is reportedly targeting over 50 NPU TOPS and a massive 180 total platform TOPS. It is Intel's line in the sand to defend its historic crown.
Meanwhile, AMD is playing its own hand with the Ryzen AI 300 series, delivering around 50 NPU TOPS. And Apple, the vertically integrated pioneer, is shipping its M4 and upcoming M5 chips, running their own Apple Intelligence on-device models. The silicon war has never been more crowded, and every single player is racing to TSMC to manufacture these massive, high-area logic dies.
The smartphone silicon war is just as fierce. Qualcomm is leading the Android flagship charge with its Snapdragon 8 Elite, featuring custom Orion cores.
While MediaTek is the quiet volume king in China and emerging markets with its Dimensity 9400. Both chips are built on TSMC's advanced 3nm node, allowing them to run small, heavily quantized on-device models like Google's Gemini Nano locally without roasting your fingers.
And Apple is vertically integrating its A18 and A19 neural engines to power Apple Intelligence. Google uses its own tensor chips to run Gemini Nano on the Pixel. And in China, handset makers like Xiaomi, Oppo, Vivo, and Honor are running specialized edge-optimized variants of domestic open-source models like Qwen and DeepSeek. The pocket-sized NPU is officially a standard flag bearer.
But silicon is just sand without software. In the Android world, Google's Gemini Nano has become the native on-device standard. It is a compact, highly optimized model that can summarize recorded audio, suggest smart replies and messages, and handle basic translations completely offline.
And Apple's approach is even more vertically integrated. They run a small 3 billion parameter on-device foundation model optimized for the A18 and A19 chips.
And 3 billion parameters is the sweet spot. It is small enough to fit into a phone's memory without eating up your RAM, but smart enough to handle day-to-day language tasks. If you ask it a question that needs a massive, trillion-parameter brain, it seamlessly hands the baton over to private cloud compute or ChatGPT. It's local first, cloud only when necessary.
So let's talk about what these AI devices actually do when you take them out of the box. What is the daily experience?
With Apple Intelligence, the primary features are deeply practical writing tools. It can proofread, rewrite, or summarize emails, articles, and long message threads locally. There are also creative features like Image Playground and Genmoji, where you can generate custom icons and emojis on device.
And the big one is the long-awaited Siri overhaul. The new Personal Context Siri AI, which is releasing in beta in late 2026, can look across your emails, calendar, and photos to understand your personal context. You can ask it, "When does my mom's flight land, and what was that restaurant she recommended?" And it will securely parse your private data to find the answer. It is personal assistance built on local privacy.
On the PC side, the toolkit is focused on productivity. You get live captions and real-time translation across any video or audio stream, on-device image co-creation, and local RAG, meaning retrieval augmented generation, where the AI can parse and search your local documents and PDFs privately.
But the flagship feature was Microsoft's Recall. It was designed to create a searchable, semantic photographic memory of everything you've ever seen on your screen.
Laughs, which immediately ran into an absolute firewall of privacy and security concerns when researchers pointed out it stored those screenshots unencrypted. It became the ultimate poster child of an AI feature nobody actually asked for. Microsoft had to delay it, make it fully opt-in, encrypt the database, and gate it behind Windows Hello facial recognition. It was a massive reality check. On the edge, privacy isn't a nice-to-have. It's the whole product.
But my favorite on-device feature is the live earbud translation. If you wear AirPods or modern Android earbuds, they can now perform simultaneous, real-time translation of a conversation or a menu locally, right in your ear.
It's the sci-fi Babel Fish, finally made real. You can sit in a restaurant in Tokyo, listen to the waiter speak Japanese, and hear the English translation in your ear with less than a second of delay.
And because it runs locally, you can do it deep in a subway station or in a remote village with zero cellular reception. That is the magic of on-device AI. It is utility that is completely independent of the cloud or the telecom grid. This whole silicon race has also completely reshaped the operating system landscape. To make Qualcomm Snapdragon X chips competitive, Microsoft had to completely rebuild Windows on ARM.
And they built Prism, their new x86 emulator. It translates old, x86 designed legacy applications to run on ARM chips smoothly in real time, with almost no noticeable performance hit.
It broke the x86 lock-in that Intel and AMD had held for decades, and it places Microsoft in a beautiful, hedged strategic position. Microsoft wins if AI runs in the cloud through Azure, and they win if AI runs on-device through Windows and Copilot plus PCs. They own the toll road on both sides of the bridge.
So the hardware line is drawn. 40 tops, 16 gigabytes of RAM, and a massive multi-sided silicon war. The devices are getting incredibly smart, but the real bottlenecks under this entire hardware explosion aren't the gadgets themselves.
Exactly. Whichever chipmaker or laptop OEM wins, they all have to buy two things: advanced foundry wafers and a massive amount of memory. And that brings us to our next episode. In episode 3, we leave the laptops and phones behind and look at the wild new category of personal AI supercomputers, the $3,000 boxes that put a data center in your closet, and the smart home brains that run your house offline.
We don't predict. We test the thesis as the evidence lands. We'd love to hear in the comments, are you Team Qualcomm, Team Intel, or Team Apple? Thanks for spending part of your day with us. Until next time, take care and keep following the money. That's a wrap for today. Thanks for thinking it through with us. We're just testing our theses out loud, one day at a time.
Catch you on the next one. Stay curious and tell us where we're wrong.